What is up, YouTube? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the week in review. We got some basketball, football, and baseball. Going to hit all three today. With a focus on football and baseball and a brief touch on, not a brief touch, a little more than a brief touch on basketball, but a little more even split this week than normal. Because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, YouTube stuff down below. Before we get into the charts and graphs, just a few things I want to touch base on. I'll try to link to it down below, but you can find it on their YouTube page. Beckett Media put out about a 40-minute chat, so BGS, going over the fake slab stuff and all that shenanigans, and kind of updated you and talked about what to look for and all that. It's an interesting watch. I don't know, doesn't reinstill my confidence in Beckett as a brand, but you should probably definitely check it out if you haven't already. New record prices continue to get set for these big time cards. The Jordan PSA 10s is going to set a new record again. That auction's still ongoing, but it's already eclipsed what the last one sold for. So these big cards like this, the prices continue to fly, and we're going to touch on Jordan in the charts and graphs today. I am recording this Saturday night, late Saturday night. I did go to a card show this morning. I did not pick anything up. I was slightly disappointed. It was 40 tables. There was a ton of people. Not a lot of graded stuff, a lot of NBA, a lot of football, a lot of Cleveland area sports stuff, which is not surprising given the location. But yeah, nothing really jumped out at me. I'm not like a big card show guy. I would rather just go online and buy the card I want than like dig through the $3 bin to find some gem or whatever, you know what I mean? To find the hidden treasure. That's just not me. I would rather just pay $6 instead of $3 and have it shipped to me and not have to leave the house or not have to fight through a bunch of crowds, pandemic or not, regardless of your take on the pandemic. But I thought prices were kind of high. I inquired on a few different cards, and some of the prices that they quoted me, I could get it for, in some cases, $100 to $200 cheaper just as at a buy it now on eBay. And I know there's the whole back and forth thing, negotiating at card shows and all that jazz too, which I'm also not a fan of. Like, I get it, but like, let's just not waste a bunch of time. Like, this is 2021. We all know what this stuff sells for. We all have mobile computing devices in our pocket that can tell us pretty close what these prices are within about 30 seconds to a minute tops, depending on the Wi-Fi connection or the cell connection in the building. So I don't know. I don't want to say the experience turned me off or anything. It wasn't bad. Everyone was nice. Everyone was friendly. Talked to a couple cool guys at some tables and stuff. Found out about a local shop, not semi-local shop. It's about 35, 40 minutes from me that I didn't know existed. So I'm going to put that on my list of places to check out. And they probably had one of the better tables there. So, all that stuff was good. Like I said, I thought prices were a little bit high. Like, don't quote a $500 price for a $350 card when we all are going to look it up on 130 point and know exactly what it sells for. And the other thing is, like, don't quote me the eBay sold listing price. If it sells for $350, you shouldn't be selling it at $350 at the table. Like, we should be meeting in the middle somewhere. Sure, you could go sell it on eBay for $350, but you're going to eat 13% in fees, and I'm going to eat 6% taxes on my end, or whatever your tax rate is. So how about we split the difference here and take like 5% to 8% below eBay comps or whatever, and let's just get a deal done. And less hassle for both parties. You don't have to package it and ship it. I don't have to wait for it to come. Like, this shouldn't be difficult. And once again, this is just me on my soapbox. I hate having to ask for prices for everything. And I get that it would probably be a pain in the ass to price everything as quick as prices change. But at a crowded show, I just want to walk up and look at your case and at least have an eyeball of what you're doing for prices and not have to ask on every single card in the case. But like I said, part of me gets why stuff doesn't typically get priced at card shows, but it would be nice if they would. Um, the thing that struck me walking out of there was, everyone talks about, these super high pop counts on Zion based Prism, Jaw based Prism, PSA 10s. I didn't see a single PSA 10 Zion in the building, which I found strange. I don't know if it was just the types of tables or the inventory, or people just don't bring that stuff to a show because the market of this show just doesn't usually shell out stuff like that. They're looking for lower end stuff, like to buy raw and to grade. So I don't know. It was a fun day. I was there for about an hour and a half, just kind of roaming around. But yeah, there's one next week up in Cleveland on Super Bowl Sunday. I am debating hitting that one. I was more gun ho for that one prior to today. So we'll see what happens. Maybe another card show report next week. I was hoping to have like a, mail day situation, but not the case. So, all right, I have rambled on long enough. Let's get into the movers and shakers from the week in sports cards. We're going to start with football, move to baseball, and then end with basketball. Football, let's talk about some of the quarterbacks. Mr. Josh Allen and Mr. Aaron Rodgers went home last week, and their prices went home with them. Josh Allen PSA 10 base Prism is down 25%. This card was about at $1,000. It is down to about 700 now. Not surprising. Aaron Rodgers, same thing, down 30%. Started the week at 1,400, ends it at 950. Pretty good chunk of change there. I expect both these to continue to go down. So if you're a big Josh Allen guy for his career going forward, I would wait another week or so at least before I dove back in. If the football market follows what the basketball market did, it took about 5 or 6 weeks for prices to level out. They started dropping slower and slower as weeks went on, but I think you got at least a good week or two before these things hit even close to the bottom on this, and probably a little while longer than that. So both those two guys are definitely trending down. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Brady's stuff is absolutely insane right now. This is his 2000 Bowman Chrome. PSA 10 is up 100% on the week. 100% sounds like a lot. It is. It's even more when you're talking about a $13,000 card to begin the week, and it ends the week at $26,000. Woohoo, boy. That's a big number. How about Mahomes? 2017 Optic Base PSA 10 up 20% to 2K. And his Prism is up right along with it. I actually wouldn't mind picking one of these up. I'm specifically targeting the Optic because the Prism Silver is just out of my price range. I own 0 Mahomes. I do think he is, fairly obvious at this point, but I do think he is the next guy. Duh. But, and I feel like his stuff is actually underpriced, all things considered. I'm banking on, regardless of what happens next weekend, that there's going to be a dip, whether he wins or loses. If he loses, there's definitely going to be a dip. If he wins, I think there's going to be a dip as well, because there was a dip last year after they won. His prices fell pretty decently right after, and then slowly ticked back up and then took off over the summer when everything went crazy. So I may look to pick one of these up after the Super Bowl. Right now, I don't think it makes sense to buy one. I will roll the dice and see if there is a post Super Bowl dip. It started the week at 1,700. It ends the week at 2,100, a 20% increase, or $400. I was actually on the lookout for one of these today. But once again, there just was not a lot of super high end stuff there. Let's talk football goats, or not even necessarily goats, just legends, I guess. So I did the video a couple days ago about how the all-time great prices in basketball are going up and the modern guys are going down. Well, the all-time great pricing going up is now filtering out. This is the least shocking thing ever to all the other sports. So we're going to see a lot of legends in today's charts and graphs. First being Deion Sanders. And I could have picked like a ton of different guys. I just grabbed some at random that went up. But basically any big star, like Hall of Fame level player from the 80s or 90s is going up and up a lot. So here's Deion, 89 tops traded base, PSA 10, up 83% on the week. Started the week at 150, ends the week at 275. And it really took off the last couple days. This thing was 140 as of the 26th of January. And as of yesterday, it was all the way up to 275 already. So these things are flying up the board. To go along with it, Troy Aikman, 89 tops traded, going right up, 37% up on the week. Started at 175, up to 241, and there is a bunch of other Aikman stuff up as well, along with Rice, Montana, all those guys. Here's a Barry Sanders, 89 tops. Once again, up 74%. Started the week at 130, ends the week at 230. The trend continues. These all-time great players are just going up and up and up. Transitioning back to modern a little bit, Watson's stuff continues to soar on trade rumors. And we're going to circle back to this when we get to the basketball side of things. Because I think there might be a move to be made, though it looks like people have already beat me to it by a couple of days. But we'll talk about it when we get there. So Watson stuff's flying. All the other NFL, other than Chiefs and Bucks stuff, is down, except for Watson of current day players. He's up another 30% on the week. And if I ran this chart back even farther, let me go back 30 days. He's been trending up basically since the season ended and these rumors came out about him getting traded. Here he is on January 1st at $486. And on the last, what did I go back? 14 days or 30 days. Over the last 30 days, he's up 138%. And he hasn't touched a football. But he demanded the trade. Now, what happens when he gets traded? Is he going to see another huge spike again? Or is this all built in? I feel like this is asking for a pullback. And it's going to set a new level at wherever it sets the level at. Because I think what's going to happen is we've had this 30-day run up. He's going to get traded. It's just a matter of when. Whether it's the next couple months, if it's at the draft, or if it's in the summer. He's going to get traded. It's going to spike again. And then I think if he gets traded soon, there'll be another pullback because this seems semi-unsustainable to me. I don't know. I guess it just depends on where he goes. If he goes to the Jets or something, maybe it holds just because of the market. I don't know. But this is just crazy spec on these prices right now on him. Let's switch over to baseball. And once again, the theme continues. All-time great players going crazy. Randy Johnson, classic 89 upper deck, got chased along with the Griffey. Up 60% on the week. Started at 140, ends at 225. Continuing on. Once again, circling back to the trade spikes. Nolan Arenado got traded just the other day to the St. Louis Cardinals for a monster package. Started the week at 150, ends at 238, up 57%. That trade just happened Friday night. So there's only about a day or two's worth of data of this in there. I expect this to be on next week's chart too, possibly, as the price shoots up due to the trade. Back to baseball legends. Jeter stuff is just on an absolute fire. I mentioned it in that basketball video. This is his classic 93 tops, just base, not even the SP Authentic one is ridiculous right now. The silver one, that's an insane degrade. Both cards, this is the PSA 10 and the PSA 9. The PSA 10 is up 45%. The PSA 9 is up 60%, 1,500 and 200. Now, when you look at this, a lot of people might say, holy cow, 1,500 and the PSA 9 is only 200. Are you kidding me? The PSA 9 is a steal. Because we talk about it all the time. Usually a PSA 9 to PSA 10 is about a 3 to 4x ratio. clearly here we're way above that. So we should run out and all go by the PSA 9s, right? Not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso likes to say. Let's go over here to old Mr. Pop Count. PSA 10, just under 3,000 of them. PSA 9, just under 14,000 of them. This card, very tough grade, mostly due to centering and the fact that it's just paper and they beat up a little bit easier. But anytime you see 4 white sides, we talk about it all the time when we're talking about like optic and stuff like that in basketball. These are really tough grades because of the bordering to get PSA 10s. So you see an astronomical amount of 9s. This is a huge ratio difference in regards to population base of 10s compared to 9s. So that's why you see a much bigger price spread than you normally do. So the rules don't necessarily apply here. That 3 to 4x is mostly on modern stuff. When you get older, things get skewed more. Let's switch over to basketball. And once again, with the baseball market, I could have pulled any number of all-time great players. Their stuff's going sky high. Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Greg Maddux, all those guys. Their prices are all up. This Jordan, LeBron trickle down is shifting the entire card market to these older stars / legends. Like the balance has swung completely the other way, and all the money is moving to these guys. And you can see it when you look at anything modern, especially basketball. They're all down. You know, we talked about it in the basketball video on Thursday, I believe I posted that. All those guys are down. All the money is swinging to these legends. At some point in time, that money's going to swing back. People are going to say, man, this LeBron and Jordan stuff, this Clyde Drexler, Shaq AI stuff, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr. is super high priced. Now I can't afford this stuff anymore. Holy cow, Ja Morant PSA 10s are under $600, maybe down to $500 by the time things swing back. Who knows? That money's going to shift back. We're going to start getting closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline in March and then the NBA playoffs in the spring. And that money's, I think is going to come rushing back into modern at some point in time, at least for basketball. And that's going to coincide with baseball picking up, the baseball season starting. So I think right now we are definitely in a Legends Hall of Famer cycle. But I do think that stuff's going to shift back at some point in time. I think it has to. There's no way that these legends and all-time great players can keep going up and up and up and up, except for like a Jordan and a LeBron, like those super upper crust guys. But these second tier guys, there's going to be a peak eventually for them. And I do think that money's going to flood back at some point in time. But like I just said, for Jordan, the trend continues. Let's look at Jordan stuff. So I just pulled price movements by cards in Market Movers, link down below. And I did PSA 10, and I went back 7 days. Here are a bunch of Jordan cards from the last 7 days in PSA 10s. The lowest one is up 44%. Some of these are up 60, 70, 80% in 7 days. And most of these are like his older, like here's a 90 Fleer PSA 10, Hoops base PSA 10, 91 Upper Deck, Hoops All-Star, like this old, I mean, for lack of a better term, like junk wax stuff. Like, how many of these did you have laying around as a kid? I have a pile of these somewhere, I think. They are in top loaders, but the centering on these was absolutely terrible. So there's just not a lot of PSA 10s floating around. But all this stuff is just going crazy right now. Absolutely crazy. Let's dip back and look at LeBron really quick. Topps Chrome, PSA 10, PSA 9, PSA 8. This is the slowest week we've seen for this thus far. The 8 hasn't moved. It's been stuck at 5,500 all week. The 9 barely creeped up. It's sitting at 10K. And the 10 set a new all-time record at 32.5, up 1,500 for 5%, which once again, 5% on a $30-some thousand card ends up being a lot of money, even if the percent is small. So it looks like LeBron, I don't want to say he's slowing down, but maybe he's plateaued for the time being. And then it kind of, let's see where it goes from here. Now, that being said, I don't think this is done yet for LeBron. Jordan stuff's about to set a new all-time record, and look at these Jordan charts. I think we may see another bump here. These are not super high pop count cards. You're talking about 2,000, 2,900. So the supply is going to keep dwindling, driving up the prices for these as we move forward. All right, let's get to the thing I alluded about earlier, talking about player trade demands and when a player gets traded and huge price increases. So Bradley Beal, he has been playing out of his goddamn mind this season. And he also looks like the saddest man in America on the bench at the end of these Wizards games, watching Westbrook run around like an idiot. He has not publicly demanded a trade yet, but I don't see how he is not get traded this year at the deadline or before the deadline. It has to be coming. There is no way he stays on this team through the trade deadline. Now, you can see he bottomed out here on 126 at $600, and he's all the way back up to 750 again. I think people are specking on the same thing that I'm thinking. I think there is a very little window to jump on board with this and this hold it until he gets traded, and then I would just sell it. There's only 428 of these. This is 2012 Prism. This is the most desirable Prism set that is out there. It's the first Prism set. There's tons of rookies in this set. It's kind of like, I don't know, like the 03 Topps Chrome of the modern generation. And I just see this getting a huge price bump once he comes out and actually asks for a trade, or once his name legit starts getting floated in trade rumors like Harden's did. And then depending on who he goes to, it's probably going to be a contender. They're going to get a trade bump off that. It happened with Kyrie. It happened with Harden. Or it happened with Harden, not Kyrie. When Harden got traded to the Nets, he saw a huge price increase right after. And we're seeing it. Look at Watson's cards. Just the spec of him getting traded has caused his card market to go into a flurry. Look at Arenado. Arenado's stuff was flat forever. All of a sudden, he gets traded, 30 to 40% bump overnight. I think it's coming to Bradley Beal. It's just a matter of when. So if you could find Bradley Beal for reasonably priced, I would run out and grab some and just sit on it for a few weeks until he gets traded. The trade deadline's late March this year, I think. I think it's March 22nd. Just hang on to him until then. It's a 2-month hold at most. And I think it's a pretty safe play that the price goes up when he gets traded. So I wouldn't hold it beyond when he gets traded unless he's going to like the Lakers or something crazy, which that's not going to happen because they don't have the assets for it. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on this one. I think this is a smart move just to sell and buy into the hype and sell the news when he gets traded. I just kind of wanted to touch to kind of close out here on the four big guys from the last 2 years and what their card prices are doing. Luka PSA 10 base, Trae Young PSA 10 base. Luka's basically flat. He's been sitting at about 1,600 for a while now. And he's still been slowly creeping down. I've seen some off eBay deals at around 1,500. At some point in time, I do believe this is going to go back up. The thing that I am looking for on Luka is, are there any lower population cards I could go after on this dip? Specifically thinking like maybe Revolution, which is a low pop card. I kind of like Revolution a little bit. Can I pick one of those up on the cheap on the dip? Can I maybe get some more optics of his? I have a handful of base optics already, a couple PSA 10s, an SGC 10, maybe an optic color PSA 9 or something like that. At some point in time, the market is going to come back to him. I know that they're playing like crap right now. This might not be their year, but I think this is the let's buy the dip on Luka's season and then just hold for the long term. He's the one guy I'd be willing to just set in a closet for 5 years, 10 years, and forget that I own and not be constantly looking to quick flip it if there's a good profit margin to be made off of it. Trae Young down 10%. Now, this one's interesting. He's had a major pullback as this season's gone on. And as of the last week, He's been playing really good. I was surprised that his numbers were still down 10% this week after the week that he's had. He's had some really big games this past week, and his numbers are still going down price-wise. Today, DeAndre Hunter had a knee injury. They made it sound not serious, but anytime I hear knee injury and there's rumors of a PRP injection going on, that scares the hell out of me. So we will see what ends up happening with that. But same thing, I feel like it's just a matter of time before these Trae Young prices start to go back up again. His PSA 10 for $550 seems like a really good deal to me, but maybe I'm just wrong. This card was astronomically high before the season started. So we know that there's that ceiling there. But can it get back there? But like I said earlier, at some point in time, this vintage legend Hall of Fame money is going to swing back, and it's going to swing back into these players, your Lukas, your Trays, your Jaws. Actually, the Grizzlies finally get to play a game on Saturday night. That's about to tip off here any minute. Let's look at John Zion really quick, and then we will wrap this up and get the hell out of here. John Zion down this week again. Ja down 16%. Zion down 8%. They are basically at the same price right now as we talked about last week when I did the Ja market manipulation video. I still want to do a deeper dive into Zion's price stuff. I just haven't had time. But yeah, they continue to trend down. Pullback keeps happening on these guys. And once again, if Ja-based prisms get a lot cheaper, I will be looking to dive back in again. Once they get into the $500 range, I'm going to get interested. And maybe they don't get there. I could be getting greedy here, pushing it to see if they keep going down. I think part of it was, once again, the whole modern market's pulling back a little bit right now. 2, he was hurt for a while. He just came back, and then the NBA basically told the Grizzlies to go on an all-star break because of COVID. So we'll see what happens once he's back tonight and what kind of game he has and where the prices go from there. But my biggest preseason prediction did come true, that Ja's prices will pass Zion's. Now, it didn't necessarily hold, but it did happen. They've been going back and forth the last 7 days. We'll see what happens by the end of the season if that's still the case. I also predicted that Ja's base prism would be $1,000, and boy, was I wrong on that one. So, but we'll see. Long season to go still. We shall see what happens. But that's all I have for you guys today. Oh, one quick thing. And I'll probably do a separate video on this that I may end up posting tomorrow afternoon or evening. The first Star Stock PSA sub, I did not have cards in this one. They are doing a reveal tomorrow for it. So tomorrow will be our first data point in Star Stock A's to PSA 10 rate. What does a Star Stock A mean? Tomorrow we get not necessarily to find out, but we have a data point that we can point at and say, at least for one PSA submission, Star Stock A's were 50% PSA 10s, 60% PSA 10s, 20% PSA 10s. We don't know, but they're supposed to announce that tomorrow. So I will probably, depending on how they do it and what kind of numbers they give us and whatnot, I will probably do a separate video on that and post it up. I said tomorrow night earlier, but I actually meant Sunday night because I'm recording this a day ahead of time. So later this evening, you may see a Star Stock video from me on that very topic. But that's all I got for you guys today. YouTube stuff, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.